Hi, everybody. This is Carrie from Miss Carrie Tells Stories, and today we are going to be reading Counting on Catherine, the story of Katherine Johnson for Women's History Month, and making a really cool moon craft. But I always like to start off with a question, and here is my question to you. What is something that you are good at doing? What is something that you are good at doing? I am really good at taking photographs. I love going out, taking pictures of things like flowers, trees, people, anything. I love taking photographs. So that's something I'm good at doing. What are you good at doing? So, the reason I asked that question is because Katherine Johnson was an amazing mathematician. Now, what's a mathematician? A mathematician is someone who does math for their job, and she was really, really good at it. In fact, it's because of her that the first man was able to go walk on the moon. It's pretty incredible. So we are going to read this story and learn a little bit more about her. Counting on Catherine. How Katherine Johnson saved Apollo 13. That was the name of the spaceship. And you can see here all of the different kinds of math she could do. I don't know what any of it means. Maybe some of you do, but I don't know. And here's an illustration of her working at her desk at NASA. Katherine loved to count. She counted the steps to the road. She counted the steps up to her church. The number of dishes and spoons she washed in the bright white sink. The only thing she didn't count were the stars in the sky. Only a fool, she thought, would try that. Even so, the stars sparked her imagination. What was out there? Katherine yearned to know as much as she could about numbers, about the universe, about everything. Katherine's boundless curiosity turned her into a star student. She was so bright, she skipped 3 whole grades. She catapulted right past her brother. He wasn't too happy about that. By the time she turned 10, Katherine was ready for high school. How many of you out there are 10 years old or in high school? Raise your hand. Anybody? Maybe 1 or 2? It's not too common. She was very, very smart. But back then, America was legally segregated by race. Her town's high school didn't admit black students of any age. That means anyone of color couldn't go to any school that was considered a white school. They had to be separated. Katherine burned with fury. Oh, let's all burn with fury. Urgh, she was so angry. She wanted more than anything to keep learning. There was still so much to know. That's all she wanted to do was learn. Count on me, Katherine's father told her. By working night and day, he earned enough money to move the family to a town with a black high school. Katherine loved high school. She was good at every subject, but math was still her favorite. She dreamed of becoming a research mathematician, making discoveries about number patterns that are the foundation of our universe. But in those days, there were no jobs as research mathematicians for women. Professions most available to women were teaching and nursing. So, Katherine became an elementary school teacher. She liked her job, and she loved her students, but she never stopped dreaming about exploring numbers. In the 1950s, the U.S. government's National Advisory Committee of Aeronautics, then called NACA, hired thousands of new employees. It even started hiring Black women as mathematicians. Katherine heard about the mathematician jobs. Oh, her heart raced with excitement. Perhaps her dream could come true after all. But when she applied for one of the positions, she was told they were already filled. Katherine had to wait a whole year until new spots opened up. But her patience paid off. She got the job. Katherine found herself at the heart of America's space program. She worked as a computer. Electronic computers were not widely used yet. That means you didn't have your laptop, there were no iPads, no iPhones, so people were computers. Isn't that crazy? All the computers were women. They were given the tasks that men thought were boring or unimportant. That didn't bother Katherine. She knew that without her contributions, a spaceship couldn't reach its destination, nor safely return to Earth. Here's why. Sending a rocket ship into space is like throwing a ball into the air. At first, the force of its energy runs out. Think about how you throw it, and it goes up into the air. And it sends the ball up, up, up. But as the energy runs out, the ball's path curves back toward the ground. Where it lands depends on what angle it was thrown and how high and how fast it flew. Because math is kind of a language, Katherine could ask those questions. How high would the rocket ship go, and how fast would it travel? Using numbers, and numbers would provide the all-important answer. Where would it land? To find out, Katherine plotted the numbers she calculated on a graph. When she joined the points together, they formed a curved line. At one end of that line was Earth, at the time the rocket ship launched, and at the other end was where the Earth would be when the ship landed. That's because the Earth rotates, right? It spins. It never stays in one place. It's always in motion, right? It always goes around. Katherine's reputation for accuracy, that means being right on point, perfect. Katherine's reputation for accuracy and strong leadership skills, she was known for asking plenty of questions, got her promoted to Project Mercury, a new program designed to send the first American astronauts into space. Mercury's missions were going to be dangerous. So dangerous that even the Project Star astronaut, John Glenn, refused to fly unless Katherine okayed the numbers. "You can count on me," Katherine said. Glenn's spaceship, Friendship 7, orbited Earth 3 times and returned home safely. Glenn became a national hero. All because of Katherine. Katherine was promoted again. Now she was asked to calculate the flight paths for Project Apollo, the first flight to the moon. "Count on me," she said. On July 20th, 1969, Apollo 11 astronauts walked on the moon. Their feat was celebrated around the world. More triumphs followed. Apollo 12 rocketed to the moon in November 1969. Apollo 13 launched on April 11, 1970. But on the 3rd day of Apollo 13's flight, the worst thing happened. An explosion in space. Could the crippled spaceship make it to the moon? And if it didn't, would it be able to get back home to Earth? The 3 astronauts on board were in grave peril. That means really, really, really in bad danger. Commander Jim Lovell told Mission Control, "Houston, we've had a problem." Back on Earth, Katherine Johnson got a phone call. Her flight path calculations would have to be done all over again, and perfectly. It would be the toughest challenge of her life. Katherine told Mission Control, say it with me, "You can count on me." She rolled up her sleeves, took in a breath, and began doing math. She worked hard and fast. A few hours later, Katherine's calculations were finished. The flight path to return home would take the ship around the far side of the moon. From there, the moon's gravity would act like a slingshot to zing the ship back to Earth. To get home, the crew of Apollo 13 would have to follow Katherine's course exactly by burning off fuel at precise intervals. If the astronauts made a mistake, their ship would drift through space forever. They had to be perfect, and her math had to be perfect. Crazy. Katherine waited anxiously to hear the astronauts' report. Finally, it cracked over the loudspeaker. "We've got it!" Apollo 13 was back on track. Katherine Johnson had done it. She'd brought Apollo 13 home. She was no longer the kid who dreamed of what lay beyond the stars. She was now a star herself. Katherine Johnson, a pretty incredible lady, if I do say so myself. So, now that we've learned about Katherine Johnson and how it's because of her that John Glenn and the other astronauts of Apollo 13 were able to travel to the moon and get home safely, I thought it'd be a lot of fun if we can make a little rocket ship moon activity in honor of Katherine Johnson. So, what you are going to need, again, for this project is, hold on, let me grab it, some plain white paper, some aluminum foil, a piece of black or blue construction paper, a pair of scissors. Of course, you could use kitty scissors. These are grown-up scissors. Glue or glue stick. And some colored pencils, crayons, markers. And if you have anything else for some extra decoration, again, that's just bonus. If you don't have aluminum foil, if you don't have any construction paper, don't worry. You can just use plain white paper and you can color on it later. So again, what we will be making is this really neat moon craft. So the first step of what you're going to do is you are going to take a bowl, or if you don't have a bowl near you, not a problem. Here, let me erase this. And you are going to trace a circle or draw a circle on your black or dark construction paper. So if I were to do that like this here, if that were my construction paper, here, let's make a nice circle. And there, look how pretty that is. A nice big moon. And you will do this on your aluminum foil. I think I said a construction paper. I'm sorry, you're doing this on your aluminum foil. I'm sorry if I was confusing. And when you're done, it should look like this. A nice circle. Everyone's got that? If not, press pause, take your time, and cut it out. And I will see you back in a moment for the next step. Next, what you want to do is glue it to the top of your paper. I picked the top left. You could do the top right. It is totally up to you. But before you do that, again, I forgot a little step. Sorry, I'm thinking as I go. You want to crumple this up. You want to make it a little bit like kind of have some texture to it, because the moon is not smooth and flat. It has bumps, it has crevices and all that. So watch me. You're just going to take it and lightly crumple it. You don't want to crumple it into a tight little ball, because then it's going to be really hard to unravel. But if you just do it a little bit and then you unravel it, you'll see. There you go. Look at all those nice little crevices and dips and textures in there, right? So you will do that and glue it to your dark construction paper, okay? So again, you're doing the bowl tracing on your aluminum foil and then gluing it onto your construction paper. When you are done with that, on your white paper, you're gonna make, it's kind of like a triangle, but not quite. So it's gonna be a point, and then it's gonna curve a little bit, and then a point again, and it's gonna curve. Kind of like that. Make it a little more even, and then, so this is the shape of your rocket ship, okay? Kind of like a triangle, but not really. It has more of a curve. So let's do that again. We're going to start with the top. It's going to have a little point, and then a point again, and then close it up, just like that. And it's okay if it's not perfect. If you're doing it with pencil, you can erase. I can see, like right here, one of my sides is a little shorter as I do that, and that's why I erase, right? And once you're done with that, you can decorate your rocket ship any way you want. I like stripes a lot. Stripes are my favorite pattern. So you can see I decorated my rocket ship with different color stripes and like a little window here. But if you want, you can decorate yours with flowers. You can decorate yours with butterflies. You can decorate yours with dinosaurs. There are a million things you could decorate yours with. Who's to say a rocket ship can't have pictures of different patterns or things that you love, or something you're good at even? Like, I could have thought about, I'm really good at taking photographs. I could put little cameras on here. Should have thought of that before. Oh well, I can make another one and do that. So when you are done, cut out your rocket ship, and then you're also going to glue it onto your paper. I suggest the other corner, so as if it's flying to the moon, but really, you could do it anywhere. Maybe it's going down. Maybe Earth was up here and it's flying this way. Or maybe it's already landed on the moon and you want to put it really, really close. There's no wrong way. You can't do this wrong. You really can't. Try. It's not going to work. You can only do this well, right? So, we have our moon. We have our rocket ship. Our next step will be a little bit of rocket fire to propel it to the moon. Now, I had some tissue paper left over from a project, so you can see here, I just ripped little pieces of tissue paper, and I glued that to the bottom of the rocket ship. If you don't have any tissue paper, you can use yarn. You can take pieces of construction paper if you have like yellow, reds, oranges, and rip those and glue it. If you don't have any of that, you could even just take like a plain white piece of paper, and you can see I cut that here, and if I color it in the color of fire, I can just attach that to like a spaceship like that. See? Whatever you've got, it's totally fine. And once you've done that, I don't know if you can see here, I wanted stars. I used glue stick and it didn't work so well. So next time I do this, I'm going to use glue like this, but it's up to you what you have home. I didn't have any sequins or glitter or anything like that. So I'm like, why don't I just use the leftover aluminum foil? So what I did, I don't know if you could see there, is I took the leftover pieces of aluminum foil and I just ripped them. You know, stars aren't perfect. When you look in the sky, they blink, right? They're different shapes and sizes. So I just glued them on. And they were all over the place. They're not right now. So you could do something like that if you want to. And then the last thing I did was I put a little American flag on my moon because when the astronauts landed on Apollo 13, they planted an American flag on the moon to say, hey, America was the first one there. But you could do that. You can put an alien on your moon. You could put an astronaut on your moon. You could put Katherine Johnson, even though she didn't go to the moon. Maybe she's thinking, oh, I wish I was there on the moon. I wish I was with you, astronauts. That's so awesome. Put anything you want on the moon, right? So that is our art activity. If you would like to show me your finished product and what you did and how you made it your own and creative, you can email me at misscarrietellstories@gmail.com. misscarrietellstories@gmail.com. You can also go on my Facebook page, Miss Carrie Tells Stories, and you could share your picture there. But I would really love to see what you did. As always, these videos are completely free, but if you are able to make a donation, it would be really appreciated. And you could do that by going on my Venmo, which is Carrie Elman Larson, Larson with an E, not Larson with an O. If you send it to Carrie Elman Larson with an O and not an E, someone else will get it. And that's sad. So you can Venmo me at Carrie-Elman-Larson, and that would be wonderful. And I'm trying to think, did I forget anything? Oh, our next book. Yes, I have to tell you. So, as you know, or many of you might know, I am a teaching artist here in New York City, and I work with young people all the time. And a book we recently read was Captain Starfish. And it's just like the sweetest little book with these beautiful illustrations. Like, look at that, right? And it's about a little boy named Alfie. Alfie is the sweetest little boy, but sometimes he's a little shy and nervous and scared. And he feels bad about that. He wants to be able to go out and do things and feel brave, but it's not really who he is. So this is a book about how Alfie learns to love himself just the way he is. And I think it's really fantastic. So that is what we are going to be reading on Wednesday at 3 o'clock. And what we are going to be making, now this is still a work in progress, don't judge, okay, is a little Alfie puppet. Since it's called Captain Starfish, I made a little starfish here. I'm going to decorate it. And there's Alfie. See, I said he feels sad sometimes. He does. So I made a little sad Alfie, and we could have a little puppet show. So that is what we are going to be making on Wednesday. All right. I will see you next time, Wednesday at 3 o'clock, and I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see your pictures. Bye.